Welcome back to the JPEG Podcast, episode 17. I'm Jerry.
I'm Greg.
And we're your hosts.
That is a fact, and it hasn't changed.
And it hasn't changed. Look at that, 17 episodes in. I'm actually kind of stoked.
Right?
It's been a lot of movies, though, actually, lately. Because that's been a lot of good stuff that's been coming out.
Here's the deal. That ain't stopping this week.
It's definitely not stopping this week.
No, this is movie cast.
Movie madness. Whoa. That sounded like something on like Sesame Street or like an old cartoon when a character does something bad. It's like it's like
Yeah.
like
that was the wrong connotation. I shouldn't have gone with that.
It reminded me of the Rugrats, like when they would
The intro song, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, the squishing. We need to do, I think I agree with your initial inquiry.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do a nostalgia episode.
Maybe for the big 2-0.
Yeah, that would be sick. What do you guys think? Nostalgia 90s?
What a crazy idea.
Who would have thought?
Me.
I'm just saying, I really want to keep talking about, my cats, dude.
SWAT cats.
Yeah.
Pirates of Darkwater.
Oh, Darkwing?
Duck?
Yeah.
Well, let's save that for...
We'll save it for the nostalgia 90s.
Yeah.
90s nostalgia.
2-0.
2-0. So on to the movies. I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but I have heard very little, and I think that's actually good for me personally, but I've heard very little of the new Han Solo movie.
Not too much information out there.
No, which is good.
Yeah.
I kind of want to have that surprise. But one thing that has popped up today in Disney news, the directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller have now been relieved of their duties for the upcoming movie.
So they were fired.
Yeah, they were let go. Apparently, so backstory on Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they've kind of been like a directing duo or like a writing producer duo.
Sure.
They've done stuff for the Lego movie. They were writers. 22 Jump Street, they were producers. One of my favorite movies, actually, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I actually enjoyed that movie.
I need to see that.
You should. I haven't seen the second, but I've seen the first, and I actually really liked it.
Based on the other movies you're just talking about.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it.
So they were writers for that movie as well, but Disney said that they've been fired over creative differences, whatever that means.
Oh.
I mean, I'll get into what that means, but basically, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, she was the one that did the firing. So there was reports that the screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan was clashing too much with Lord and Miller. Over their like style of movie that they have, because like I said, Lego Movie, 22 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, all of those kind of encompass comedy.
Yeah,
almost like childish comedy or like over the top comedy. And I think that that's what they were trying to stylize the new Han Solo with, too much comedy. Like recently some of the Star Wars have had a little bit of that cheekiness to it. Yeah,
which is good.
It is good because it kind of goes back to the old, but I think this duo was trying to do a little too much, so they got let go.
Interesting.
Yeah. So far though, the release date, May 25th, that has not changed. So whatever that means as far as if we will see a delay later on, I'm not sure.
May 25th next year?
Yeah, of 2018. Yep. So I'm not sure. There is speculation. I think it might have been confirmed, but I don't want to speak on, not truths. But I've seen on the interwebs that Ron Howard.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. So he's worked with George Lucas before.
What
movie was that? I want to say he's done. So he's done a lot of older movies. So I haven't seen him do stuff as of late, but I know that he's done
American Graffiti.
Yeah, with George Lucas.
That was George Lucas's like
very first
major film debut or something before Star Wars.
Exactly. Yep. He's done some A Beautiful Mind, Andy Griffith Show. So this is stuff that goes from like the 60s to the 70s and 2001. So I mean, it's interesting to see his kind of film style. be put into this Han Solo movie. Again, working with the Lucas umbrella, if you will, because George is not really in the picture.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what becomes of his directing style. So,
yeah, I wonder if I'm sure they discussed the direction the studio wanted to go.
Yeah.
And why they had to let the other people go with Ron Howard.
Yep. He's done Apollo 13 too.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
That's crazy.
He did
Cinderella Man.
A bunch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's just food for thought. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to play Han Solo, because that was also something back several months ago that was kind of speculated.
Yeah.
I thought they had someone pinned down, but it was like some younger guy. But I mean, they've all been pretty good looking dudes, but I don't know exactly who they've picked. I'm just curious to see how the movie kind of comes to fruition.
Donald Glover was confirmed as Lando Calrissian.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Donald Glover. He's been in the Martian. That movie recently, The Martian.
With Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah. He was hilarious in that movie. So
he's in it. Emilia Clarke. She plays Khaleesi in Game of Thrones.
Ah, okay.
Woody Harrelson, apparently.
Wow. It's going to be a good movie, to say the least, I think.
Oh,
so
no, it's right here. Alden Ehrenreich.
Is that what it's called? Or is that who it's going to be?
Yeah.
I see. So what is it going to be called?
It's not. It's labeled Untitled.
Yeah, Untitled.
Han Solo Star Wars anthology film.
See, that's interesting. Kind of curious what that'll turn into.
I shot first. A Han Solo story.
For those of you that don't know, go see the Star Wars original bar scene. Han shot first, for sure.
I shot first, kid.
That whole movie is just full of just puns and punchlines, I feel like.
Yeah.
Stay on target. I'm almost there. Stay on target.
He doesn't like you.
I can't shake him.
I don't like you.
Yeah. I don't like it. Chops off his hand. Oh, spoiler.
Oh, there's blood everywhere.
Ew.
Speaking of upcoming movies, this one's very close. Coming up here on July 7th.
Ooh.
7/7.
Right around the corner.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes. Spider-Man Homecoming.
This is an odd thing for me to think about because Sony owns the rights to the Spider-Man franchise.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So like when Spider-Man first came out in like 2000, when it was redone with like Tobey Maguire, this was all under the Sony.
Poor Tobey.
Yeah, he did fine. It was whatever. It's before superhero movies were like really accepted again.
Right.
Or accepted. But they have to, there's like a lot of like deliberations and agreements that Marvel has to do with Sony because technically Spider-Man is a Marvel character. But
right.
Before Marvel started getting huge, Sony, I guess, purchased the rights to
that's interesting.
the Spider-Man universe.
Sure.
So we'll talk about some more stuff in the future that they're going to be doing with that. But
totally.
I just want to throw that in there because it's interesting.
That is interesting. I didn't know that Sony kind of owned the rights to that Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
The Xenoverse.
Or share or something legally speaking.
Right. I mean, because they're going to be in the new Avengers something war. Infinity War, yeah.
Yeah, and they were in the last one, Civil War.
Right, Avengers Civil War, yeah. I'm just excited for Homecoming. I think, did you see the released kind of montage of the originals, or I guess of Spider-Man Homecoming?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think this might still be released, but it's been basically, like when Iron Man or I don't know, like a Captain America comes out, there's always a montage poster of the movie that's coming out, right? And it has like characters flying in the background or whatever. Yeah. Spider-Man Homecoming, unfortunately, it was really bad that the internet tore it apart. it had like Tom Holland in the middle, right? Because he's Spider-Man.
Movie poster, you mean?
Movie poster, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then it had, for some reason, they decided to put every single character on this montage. It had, Tony Stark. It had the bad guy, Adrian Toomes, who plays the Vulture. It had the Agent Shield guy on the front cover, I think. It had it just was kind of steering away. Yes, exactly that. So it was steering away from like, hello, this is a Spider-Man movie, not an Avengers or like a everyone get on the same poster movie.
Interesting.
It should be, if you go to IMDb, it actually has just a picture of Spider-Man kind of laying on his back with a pair of headphones on, listening to music.
Yeah.
It should be laid back about the kid, not about everyone else in the movie. So if you go to like some Reddit page or something, there are hilarious remasters, I will say, of this movie poster where it's just Tony Stark repeated all over the same
like
poster. Yeah. So
I do like this poster though, because it reminds me of like sort of like 80s style Stranger Things,
Star Wars even.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's cool that it's coming back. I like that style.
They've been doing that since like the recent Avengers and Captain America and Iron Man's and stuff like that.
That's cool.
It was just kind of comedic because I saw some
I'm curious
redone pictures, and it was just like Tony Stark's picture, repeated, and just all these Iron Mans flying out of every single direction because it seemed like it was just another Iron Man film to.
I don't know how to even search
to people. I think if you just search like Spider-Man Homecoming montage internet meme or something like that, it should just come up. To say the least, I think the movie is going to be good. I kept watching the trailer, and I was looking for stuff to kind of nitpick about.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't find anything that I was super upset about. I think the only thing is that I can kind of get where the story is going to go.
Okay.
But that's, for most movies, you can kind of tell that there's like a beginning, there's a struggle, and then there's an end or whatever. But in this, I mean, it seems pretty cool because it is focusing on Spider-Man. It's focusing on him becoming who he is and proving not only to Iron Man, to Tony Stark, that he's a worthy opponent, to fight against these enemies, but also to himself as like a, I can do this. I don't need to prove myself. I just need to prove, the world that I'm worth it.
The trailer that I've seen is hilarious.
Yeah.
So I've got my high hopes for it.
Yeah. So I look forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I think that's coming out pretty soon too. So keep an eye out for the new Spider-Man
7th
Homecoming.
Yeah, very soon.
I actually haven't seen the last ones. I know we talked about this briefly.
I haven't either.
I've only seen the ones with what's his name? Toby. Yeah, Toby Maguire.
Same.
I got bummed out with that whole emo scene thing.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was just too weird for me.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man's going to be good. I see something regarding Venom, though.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, Sony has the rights to a lot of the Spider-Man universe. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be making a Venom movie.
So Venom showed up in one of the Tobey Maguire movies, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the
third one?
With the sand guy as well?
Yeah, with the sand guy. Yeah.
It was the symbiote, which is like the alien goo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he took over Topher Grace, I think was the guy.
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember what he looked like or anything. It was forgettable.
Yeah.
But
so they're going to do something else? Like a new Venom?
Yeah. I guess the idea is that it just came out that they're also going to be featuring Carnage.
Ooh.
Who is sort of like the crazier, more insane version of Venom.
Yeah.
He's got the red in him and stuff. And and I guess I don't know if Tom Hardy plays as Venom, but he is.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Oh.
From like Mad Max and.
Yeah. So you got Tom Holland, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Multiple Toms.
Oh.
Whoa.
I hope Carnage is the Tom.
Can you imagine though, this director being like, Tom, no, I'm going to need you to put your arm down a little bit. He's like, which one?
Right. Yeah, so it should be cool. We don't know too much about it, but
he was good in Mad Max though. Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
he
said like 4 words.
Right.
But it was still good.
And in Batman as Bane.
Oh yeah,
So
I forgot that was him.
yeah, he actually beefed up from Inception.
That is what I really liked him in.
Yes. So he was Inception, and then he did that Batman with Bane, and like he bulked
Yeah.
like crazy. That'd be cool to see him as Venom.
Yeah.
I think that fits.
But yeah, there's not too much more we know about it.
Okay. So it's like another Han Solo. Not really sure.
There's sort of been some back and forth about whether this side of Spider-Man's universe is going to be at all intertwined with like the Marvel side.
Oh.
People on both sides have said yes and no.
Sure.
So nobody knows really.
Gotcha.
But that's cool. They're even going to have a Venom movie.
Yeah. I mean, so soon after the Spider-Man's coming out too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when I say so soon, like a year or maybe two. Or whatever.
October of 18.
Okay. Yeah, that's really soon.
Yeah.
After this recent Spider-Man, which is sick because I like the anticipation for movies that kind of continue on to one I just saw, but I don't like how long you have to wait sometimes.
Right. It's like
right, because then you have to go
watch
back
it again.
Yeah, you have to try and remember what happened at the end of that movie. That was like 3 years ago.
Oh, it was like at the end of the Captain America movie where Black Panther was really introduced. I had to go back and watch it again to connect it to the trailer.
Exactly. Yep.
So
very true. Yeah.
It also says that Sony Pictures is planning a Mysterio.
What is that?
Mysterio, he was the villain in Spider-Man.
Okay.
He's green. He's got like a globe for a head, but you don't see.
Oh,
you don't see,
yes.
And he's got like the eyes.
I had the toy.
Yeah.
I had the toy.
He's like a cape.
Yeah. I had the toy for that.
Yeah.
My cousins did too. They had all these crazy action figures, but that was one that I liked because of the globe thing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it looks like they're trying to start a mini like Marvel universe.
Cool.
Just with like Spider-Man, so
I'm down. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Go to our Facebook page, JPEG Podcast, but it's facebook.com/JPEG Podcast.
Right.
Let us know.
Yeah, so that looks pretty cool.
Speaking of toys and games, something you showed me at the beginning. This is another kind of nostalgic thing.
Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but Sega has announced that they're coming out with something called Sega Forever, which is a program where every few weeks or every week they release 5 Sega games from the past.
Sure.
From either Genesis, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, like all these Sega consoles. And they release 5 games on Android and iOS, and you can download them as standalone apps, and they're free, which is awesome.
I checked. Sonic is free.
Yeah, and
It looks sick.
I got an Altered Beast and
Comic something.
Comic Zone.
That looks sick. Just the music itself.
Yeah,
is awesome.
Takes you back.
If you guys heard our, I'm gonna say first season of the JPEG podcast, that's kind of what our intro music was like. Kind of that 8-bit theme.
But this Sega starts at 16-bit.
16-bit, yo.
They doubled the bits.
What?
They doubled their bits,
dude. The only I think Sega games that I played with my cousins once again in California, were like Street Fighter.
Sure.
So a lot of Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, yeah.
It was fun.
Vector Man was one of my favorites back in the day.
I would have to see some of these because I don't know if I know them by name.
Vector Man was...
It wasn't my system, so I didn't like possess them.
He was like this guy made out of green balls.
Okay.
And he could like fire things out of his hands. And
okay.
It was cool. I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Vector Man. It was tight.
Vector Man.
Vector Man.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's sick, though.
It's cool that they're just dumping their entire catalog week by week and free. It's ad supported, free, or you can pay $1.99 to not have ads.
I noticed that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was $2.99, and I think that was ad free.
Well, I don't know. They haven't released it yet officially as part of Sega Forever.
Gotcha.
So you can buy I think in the past I bought Sonic 1 and 2 and 3 for a couple bucks each just on the store.
Yeah.
But eventually it'll come out whenever they decide to drop it.
I see. Okay.
as part of this program.
This is pretty telling, I think. And I've discussed this, and there was a certain year when this was absolutely true, but this is very telling as far as what we're capable of doing on our phones. So, like, I think it was a couple of years ago, or maybe even 3 years ago, where our cell phones had a better graphics card and better graphics than the old systems like PlayStation, just the regular PlayStation. Or obviously more than the Super Nintendo and the NES and Sega and stuff like that. But the PlayStation.
Well, and beyond that,
PS2, yeah.
Dreamcast.
And the Dreamcast. And I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see. It's going to look great on the phones, and it's going to be super nostalgic. But it's just like, whoa. Like, we're literally holding this thing in my hand that can play multiple systems and platforms.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I actually got... When I bought the Sonic collection before,
Mm-hmm.
I bought this Bluetooth controller.
Oh, yeah.
That has a built-in cradle.
Oh, sure. You can put your phone on it?
Yeah, so it holds the phone above right where you're holding the controller.
And you can use the controller.
It's so much nicer than using on-screen controls.
I've seen some of those, and I've been curious at getting one, but...
Yeah, it's worth it.
I don't know. Okay.
It's...
Because the phone is big enough.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have a hard time...
Mm-hmm.
pushing down in the same exact place when it's not physically, I can't physically feel it.
Totally.
But they said part of this is they're designing into these releases third-party controller, like with third-party controllers in mind.
Capability, yeah.
So it's really nice.
Sick. Because SteelSeries has a controller that I really wanted to get. It's like just a little simple thing that has joysticks, a D-pad, up, down, left, right, and then a few buttons.
Yep.
And that's like all I want. And I don't care if I have to prop it up on my counter or something like that. I just, like you said, I like having the capability of standalone control.
Yeah.
Again, I just think that's amazing to me where we are right now in technology that we can play Sega, PlayStation, type of games on our phones. It's cool because I think in time, it's only going to get better.
Obviously. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the actual specs of our phones, they blow those consoles out of the water.
That's crazy.
I think there was like 32 megs of RAM in the PlayStation 1 or something, as opposed to like 4 gigs in your phone, or whatever.
That's nuts. Speaking of, I actually recently, I'm bringing this up because it kind of again is telling the direction that technology is going in. I have this 27-inch iMac that I've used Time Machine on, and I've taken the whole desktop off of a 2005 MacBook Pro and kind of mirrored it onto this 27-inch 2011 iMac. But I just recently took off all of the photos that are dating back from like 2006 on this computer. And just for the pictures alone, it was like over 280 something gigs of photos that I had.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I am a photography major, and I've been taking photos in RAW, so these pictures are not like small files in itself, just for one photo alone.
Right. There's a few megs each.
I mean, well, for example, my camera that I have, it takes 32 gigabyte. It has 32 megapixels of resolution. So in itself, each photo is nuts. Like it's a NEF file, .nef or .tiff file.
Right.
They're huge.
Yeah.
But I finally took it off my computer, and now I finally have the 1 terabyte of space on my computer drop down to like, I have 300 available gigs of space on the computer. It's still a lot on there, but just on that hard drive that I was dumping everything onto, that's 2 gigs on that hard drive. So these 2 hard drives that I have on my desk, which are both 2 terabytes each, are way more than what I actually have capable of storing on my computer itself.
Yeah.
But that just points me in the direction of like, oh my gosh, like 1 terabyte is going to be like minuscule, like in a few years. I mean, because they're already dropping like 5 terabytes on systems, and I know MKBHD did like 140 terabytes at his like desktop studio or something crazy.
So huge.
It was nuts. Like
I remember when I built my first computer.
Yeah.
In high school, it was $1 a gig for like buying a hard drive, and I bought an 80 gig hard drive for $80.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so crazy to think about these days.
Yeah. And I on that note, I went to Costco with my stepdad, and we bought, I think it was a 6-pack of these 256 megabyte thumb drives.
Back in the day, you mean?
Back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. And
Yeah.
he let me have one of them, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much space. Like,
yeah.
I'm holding 256
Yeah.
megabytes in my hand. That's crazy. And now, I mean, you can buy thumb drives that are smaller than, I mean, it's just the size of the plastic USB
Mm-hmm.
insert that goes in your computer that have multiple terabytes on them. It's just crazy. So, and again, going back to my photography days, I had a SD card that I always used in my camera, and I think it was 32 gigs, and that was a lot.
Yeah.
When I first started going through my bachelor's degree. And then later on, I mean, they had like Wi-Fi enabled SD cards and 64 gig, SD cards and CF cards too. Compact flash, like nuts.
That's right.
It's just crazy the direction that technology is going into. And I mean, even in our systems that are in front of us right now, this laptop, I have a solid state in here, but I don't think it's even that much. And that's okay, because I'm not planning on filling it up like I did my freaking computer over there.
Mm-hmm.
I have 500 gigs of flash storage.
It's great. Solid state is awesome.
It's nuts. So I'm just stoked with that whole Sega Forever. I want to see, it'd be cool to have like Nintendo do something like that. I mean, because
I don't think they would.
I don't think so either, though, with the Switch and everything.
Well, just the Sega's not making consoles or anything anymore. They're kind of just doing software at this point.
Yeah.
So
when I was in London, we were actually leaving London, and I saw a Sega building. It had the Sega logo on the side, and I was very confused.
Huh.
So I was wondering,
could have been a studio.
Sponsored by Sega, hit us up. Let us know what you guys are doing over there. Have us join.
Sega.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thanks. I listened to that many times.
So, I'm stoked to see what happens.
Yeah. Let us know what games you want to see soon.
Definitely. Let us know in the comments below. Facebook page, JPEGpodcast.com.
Instagram.
Yep. Instagram.com/JPEG Podcast.
That's the one. You can find everything on the website, all the links to it.
Totally. So, with that being said, I think this has been another good episode. Episode 17. Thanks for listening, everyone. Make sure to drop us a line on our social media links. Sochmead. Again, Facebook is facebook.com/JPEG Podcast. Head over there. Twitter, JPEG_podcast. Instagram.com/JPEG Podcast. And YouTube, well, again, that's a subject we need to touch back on again, I think.
Yeah, we just need 100 subs quick.
Just 100. But make sure to check us out on any other way that you guys receive your podcasts, iTunes, Podbeam.
Pretty much anything. Stitcher,
yeah.
Pocketcasts.
Hit us up.
Podcast Addict. All
that info, jpegpodcast.com. But it's been great, guys. I'm Jerry.
I'm Greg.
And we'll see you in the next one.